This is Janet Diane Moria Swerdlow with another edition of healthylivingforexpansions.com. Today we're going to learn how to make a tenderloin roast. Now sometimes this is intimidating for people, but it's actually very easy cut of meat to make. So I want to start off with how I buy mine, which is in a big long package, and this is a big one. This is about 7 to 8 pounds. So we're just going to take it out. This thin part is called the tail. As you can see, I have my cookie sheets prepared with 2 cooking racks on them. And you know, I've looked on the internet and I found a lot of different ways to do it, but this way is pretty consistent for me, so this is how I'm going to show you. The tail, I'm just going to tuck under a little bit so it's almost as thick down here as it is on this end. Now you can buy these trimmed, and I've bought these a variety of ways. And when they trim them up, there's not a lot left, in my opinion. And I have found various stores where they will trim it and then they grind the trim for you into burger meat, and I've done that, and that's also very good. But I've also found stores where they don't do that. So you want to get, the best use of your money that you can. And so it's up to you how you want it done. You can also get them trimmed and cut into steaks. Better known usually as filet mignon or tenderloin steaks. I happen to like to roast them whole the very best. This is a meat thermometer, and as you can see, it's well used. You can get them usually for under $5 at your local supermarket. And you want to cook the meat until the internal temperature is about 130 degrees. My suggestion is to get a meat thermometer if you're going to spend the money on a tenderloin, and I do use my meat thermometer depending upon what I'm cooking. It's going to go into the middle of the roast. Inserted it like this so you can see. The middle of the roast, you want to make it so it does not touch any of the fat if you can, because that fat will get hotter faster than the meat and it will affect the internal temperature. So I'm just going to stick that in the middle. Now, I season mine very simply. I use black pepper, organic, and I just sprinkle it over the top. And I've done these many ways, and I just say whatever you like is probably the best way to season. Now, I don't do a lot of salt seasoning because salt, I know, draws out the juices. But a lot of people like to season with salt, and I'd say go for whatever you feel like doing. This is a little bit of white onion, granulated, not the powder, and I'm just going to spread that over the top. I've also done mustard rubs and any kind of rub that you want, but really, in my opinion, the meat is such a good quality that it doesn't really need a lot to start with. And I have a little bit of basil. I'm just going to sprinkle on because I like the color of it. Okay. I've heated my oven to 450 degrees. I'm going to put it in for about 30 minutes before I check it. And that's all we do. And then after we take it out, it's going to sit for another 10 minutes before we cut it. And it's usually served on the rare side. If people don't want it so rare, you will have the ends, but it's usually served on the rare. And you can get them much smaller than this, 4 or 5 pounds. This is a big one, almost 8 pounds, as I mentioned before. So let me go ahead and put it in the oven, and then we'll come back and check it in about 30 minutes and see where it's at. All right. You want to make sure your meat thermometer is not touching any part of your oven as well. So we'll check it in 30 minutes and see what it looks like. It's been about 40 minutes. It's right at about 125, which is where I want it to be. So if you look on the thermometer here, 130 I guess. So that's perfect. It needs to rest for about 10 minutes before we serve it so the juices will sit. So I have some aluminum foil that I'm just going to loosely tent it with to hold the heat in. And then in about 10 minutes, once the juices have kind of set, then we'll cut it and you'll see how beautiful it is inside. Okay, you can see how nice that the roast pulled together. The seasoning looks really good. I'm going to move it over here where we're going to open it up and take a look. Good, set. This is the tail that we've tucked under. It's going to be a little less pink for those of those people who don't want it quite so rare. As you can see, it still has very nice coloring. It's extremely tender. So, and this is for people who like it a little crispier. Work off of this end, but you can see the color's still very nice. Okay, it's a little bit rare for those who like that. So now you know how to cook a beef tenderloin. It's actually very easy to do. And I look forward to hearing your results. Thank you for joining me, Janet Diane Swerdlow, for expansions.com.